Hello everybody, welcome to round 4 of the OVRC GT3 series. This time is at Monza. I will be your host, Alex, and we've got my co-host, Erwin, again.
Hello.
And so, this is Monza, a 5.79 kilometer course with a whole total of 11 turns. Very high speed circuit compared to other things we had on the calendar so far. There's a lot of chance of slipstream going around here. It's lots of straights. It is known as a track of just straight lines. That's pretty much Monza. It's a lot about if you can get your car correct going out the exit of corners. You obviously have driven around here, not in leagues, but it's quite popular in public racing. What do you think of the circuit? Because it's sort of got a mixed feeling about it, really.
It is definitely not my favorite circuit. It's a bit too many straight lines for me. But yeah, I know some other people enjoy it, and there's definitely enough of a challenge in getting the right exits out of corners, because if you don't, you're going to feel that all the way down the straight.
Yeah, it's going to be very important with from watching practice. The average speed people are reaching at max about 265 kilometers per hour, and that's going down the back straight from the parabolica. I could go through some of the major corners because I've got a couple of famous ones. Of course, there is the two Lesmos, which are quite popular. And there's also the very famous Ascari chicane, which I wouldn't say as much as chicane. I think it's actually a very good chicane. It's very unique in the way it's done. It's actually quite a challenging corner to get right. And of course the parabolica right at the end, which is crucial to get right to get the exit speed onto the back straight before you get to the dreaded first chicane. The first chicane is always going to be an issue, isn't it? Here.
Yeah, that's always an interesting one in Monza. Especially in public service, if you've ever had that horrific experience.
It's a privilege to get absolutely punted there. It's just a slow chicane where it's very hard to get wide, and everyone's trying to make moves on the first thing. Everyone's trying to get past, and it doesn't work. You have to go by 2x2 through there. I think we should probably talk about some of the competitors. So, from just the most data we have is from practice. Obviously, people doing practice on our servers, and we also got some private practice with people reporting the numbers onto our Discord. So we're going by a lot by that. Obviously, we don't have forced practice sessions as such. We don't have to say, "Oh, you have to practice here." We sort of say you practice when you want. From what we understand, Thomas Jensen, who's right now leading the championship in the Bentley, is looking very strong here. He is most time posting the fastest laps in. The Bentley seems very suited to be here. He had a lot of fear originally about the top end will cut out because of the way the turbo's set up on that thing, but no such issues it seems right now. The next major point, the McLarens, which are right now in his biggest rivals racing, is Tom Dentist, who's driving the McLaren 650S. Again, a lot of fears coming into this race. They wouldn't have the top end. People thinking, oh, they'll have no chance here. It's not too bad. It's only about 1 or 2 kilometers per hour off the pace of the Bentley. It's still a lot, but it's nothing saying in the slipstream we can't tow it, and maybe you can do some trickery in the pit stops. Anything could happen, really. It's not as bad as the disadvantage people originally thought here.
Yeah, definitely.
The Corvettes are looking very good. That's more case of the driver. That's basically off the fact that from the drivers in the other cars who tested the Corvette out, they saying it's very strong. And if one of the Corvette drivers can hook it together this race, they should have a really good race. Which is mostly looking at Mark Whitford, who is driving the Corvette. He's currently leading the Corvettes in terms of that lot. Quick talk about strategy here, because I mentioned a bit earlier. It's gonna be. I mentioned say, oh, someone might do something a bit clever in the pit stops. It's not gonna happen, is it really?
No, not really. I think all the drivers so far have discovered that, basically no tire change needed on this track. I believe Victor was considering changing his front tires, but maybe that was probably some sort of setup issue. Maybe he sorted it out since then. But probably no one will change tires here. It's not a very demanding track on the tires.
Not many corners, and a lot of them are slow. The main corners which will cause tyre wear will be stuff like Ascari, Parabolica, because you're going quite fast for it, but that's really it. You've got a lot of chicanes, a lot of slow corners where... One thing I have noticed from a bit of practice is in the slipstream, some cars seem to lose a lot of their braking ability, which might cause some interesting situations later on when it comes to braking these heavy braking zones. Slipstream behind your car doesn't pull out, follows them and hits them off. That might be a risk for some drivers. So, I think we should go on to the current championship standings as we look here on this list of the top 20 right now. I'll start for the top 10 right now. So first place right now is Thomas Jensen in the 83 Bentley with 50 points after his win last time at Zandvoort. Very interesting race then, very much down to strategy that one, compared to this time, which won't have any strategy involved. So
yeah, of course. For those who didn't see the Zandvoort race, Thomas Jensen won that race. He was behind Tom Dentist for until the pit stops when he chose not to change tires. The only one in the race to not change tires. So he ended up ahead, and Tom Dentist got very close in the end, but he didn't manage to overtake.
oh, and that is just the curse of Zandvoort. You can't overtake there. Second place right now.
Yeah, very difficult.
Tied second place right now is Mark Whitford in the Callaway Corvette with 45, as well as Tom Dentist, who's Thomas Jensen's biggest rival so far. Those two have been very evenly matched every race they've been to with each other in. They both missed one race each, but before this season, they've always had a very close rivalry, and those two, I think, the main ones to watch here. Tom does have this advantage of being McLaren, but maybe able to get a setup working, or maybe just practice the exits well enough to get around those issues.
Yeah, Tom was saying in the Discord chat earlier that he didn't have a problem with the top speed.
So he feels confident coming into this. In fourth place is Daniel Homan, who has changed his vehicle due to external circumstances. He will not have a penalty on that though, due to the reasoning which was given. But he has changed to the Audi R8 compared to the Porsche. It's a slightly worse car, people are sort of saying. It doesn't have the quite same qualities the Porsche does. Porsche is a very, very strong car, so seeing how he goes in that car. In fifth place is Sven Jensen in the Nissan. He is the highest placed Nissan right now with 27 points. He is... Originally, everyone thought the Nissan would have a really easy race here, but as practice has shown, Nissan has barely any advantage here. It's slightly faster than the Bentley. It's not much. Everyone thought it had a massive gap. It'd be like the fastest thing in a straight line, bar none, in the series, because obviously we don't have a Corvette or a Mustang running, so they're out of the equation.
We do have several Corvettes running.
Corvettes,
Camaros, yeah.
Chevrolets. In seventh place is Sebastian. Oh no, sixth place is I missed sixth place. Aton Kovalainen in another McLaren, 23 points. Sebastian Brunier in seventh with 22, who's tying the position with Victor Berlin, who's had a rocky season so far. He's looking on the up though. He's improved from his mistakes.
I would say he definitely looks like he's improving, working on his consistency. So that's good job.
Yeah, he's moving himself up, and he's in 8th place, so which is higher than last season. So he's looking probably to aim for a top 5 spot, depending on this race and how it goes for him. In 9th is John Dalton, who has said earlier he doesn't want to race now due to this loss of interest in it. So he unfortunately will not be here. He's in the number 7 Bentley, Which is a shame because he was a good driver. He proved himself. Unfortunately, he just didn't. I guess that's just how it is sometimes, especially when you're not being paid to do something. You just lose interest sometimes, and at the end of the day, since people have got no risk of not doing things, they just drop away.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but hey, ultimately it's his own decision.
Yeah. And in 10th is Jorgen Wolby. We're in the highest at Mercedes, and only Mercedes right now, I believe, which is in the top 20. He's on 17 points. Want to continue with the rest? I'll let you do so.
Right, in 11th we have Kevin Neff in the Nissan GTR, 17 points at the moment. Dragus Wipe is 2 points behind in 12th, also in the Nissan GTR. Then we got Robert Nygaard in the McLaren at 13 points in 13th place. So hopefully he doesn't have the kind of luck associated with the number 13, but 2 13s for him right now. So
double 13. So hopefully he doesn't. But he's in the number 0 McLaren, so it's not the triple whammy, I guess.
Yeah, that's he lucked out a bit there. Then in 14th we got Robin Sutherland with 12 points, also in the Nissan GTR. 15th, Chris Bow in the Z4 with 11 points. Then in 16th, we've got Stephen Higgins in the Callaway Corvette and Mark Slors in the McLaren, both with 9 points. 18th, Tim Haynes and Connor Mathieson with 5 points. And then 20th is Thijs Dendo with 4 points in the Bentley.
That rounds off your top 20 of the season so far. As the server will soon be open to drivers. A couple of seconds left, and there we go. The server is now alive for drivers. We should hopefully get a couple on very shortly. So it's going to be interesting, I think, because obviously, again, everyone's exception coming into this race would be Bentley will suffer the top end, Nissan will have the advantage, McLaren will be dreadful. Practice has proved otherwise. In terms of it's still very much a driver's choice in terms of how fast they want to be. I say that like that. That's not the right saying, but
yeah, I think that just tells us a lot about the BOP in Raceroom.
Yeah, he's a very, very good BOP in this game. It shows how balanced the cars are, where the fact that all of them are competitive here, and while some may have a bit of weakness here and there, they are all close enough to do good racing. As we get our first 2 cars on the session right now, is Thomas Jensen, and Victor Berlin are all on the server already. So quite quick, people are hopping on to get ready to get some laps down on this server. Thomas Jensen is the first to go. Let's actually, on his outlap, let's actually head on board with him as he enters the first chicane right now. This can show you a lap from the ground and what the drivers are seeing. We're on turn 2 now. It's a very long sweeping corner. Quite important to get the exit right. Head down towards the second chicane, turn 3. Bit of a lock up then. Goes over the curb, but this again is an outlap. It's not that important to get anything done. And I think into the first Lesmo now, turn 4. Be a bit careful on that inside curb as you go to the use all the outside curb. Then to the second Lesmo. Going very wide, and then you got the first of the back straights, which has got a small kink in it. So that's reaching speeds of around about 240, 50 or so as you enter into this Scary chicane. And then you head onto the second of the major straights here towards the Parabolica. around here. Run wide around here onto the start, finish straight, and that is a lap of Monza. Again, very quick circuit, very simple circuit, and it's quite a lot about top speed. Not seven. I need to stop saying that. As Jensen in the GTR is kind of behind him. Let's have a quick look at Jensen on his first timed lap. Got currently 4 drivers on the server as people slowly start coming in. You see, he's using a lot of curb in that car, and that's what the Bentley is very good at doing. I've driven it personally. Same thing with the Nissan. They're very good at taking curbs. They can use it a lot compared to some of the mid-engine cars, which seem to struggle in them. It makes it very easy to use, especially over long races where you get a bit tired and you can't focus all the time. The car's not always on edge, so it's very forgiving in that regard. Compared to, let's say, the McLaren or the Audi, which was very popular last season. Barely any have been used this season. And quite the turnaround as he exits the Scari, and you see Mark Whitford down the track right now. He's on an outlap. Let's see what timed lap Thomas Jensen can set in the Bentley for his first timed lap of this session. Across the line now. He puts in a 1:48.3, so very quickly on average pace. That's what the lap times we were expecting, averaging in the race kind of thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, that seems to be about the race pace. By the way, for those watching us on YouTube, you may have noticed a little button pop up. We now have a live timing channel, so if you want to keep an eye on the times more closely, you can have a look at that. I will warn you that when you switch to the live timing channel and then switch back here, it returns you to where you left. So press the live button to return to the live feed. And of course, I'd recommend you, if you want to push the live timing, to open it up in a separate tab or on another monitor if you have the ability to do so.
Yes, that is a very nice feature indeed. This makes it a lot easier to follow what's going on. Maybe if you've got a second monitor, again, we're using the same system here. It's going to help us keep track of what's going on, because there'll be a lot going on. As you're saying, that Mark Whitford did have a spin out of the second Lesmo, hit the barrier. His car does look a bit damaged. He's on his way again, but he said, yeah, he's about to say he'll probably pull in the pits very soon.
Yeah.
Yes,
also, keep in mind that we are testing this live timing system for the first time, so please forgive us if there's any tech issues.
Yep. Right now, Thomas Jensen is the only person at a time as he improves his time to 1:37.4, so he's very much on the pace. That's sort of times where we're seeing in his private practice sessions now. Seems very on the ball. He really wants to try and get winners. He wants to extend his lead away from... Because right now he's in a dangerous position. If he doesn't win this race because of a dropout for whatever reason, he is very much back in danger of the people behind him. He's only 5 points ahead of his nearest rivals. As Van Jensen also sets his first time 8 seconds slower, so I don't think that was a very quick lap. I think that was just getting an out lap together. We had an incident on the way. want to know, we have a recent return competitor today in the form of Charlie Darling. He was raced a lot in the first couple of seasons, took a break to do a real life stuff, but he's now back this season. For the remaining of the season, hopefully. He's taken the Alpina B6, which is an interesting choice, I'll say. Don't see it very often.
Not one we've seen in our league before in any previous season, so it'll be interesting to see how that performs.
Watch it now. It's a. If you want to guess, it's based off the BMW 6 Series, the last generation one, so the one, not the base of the M6. Slightly older than that. It is an older car, and it's just an interesting thing. It's turbocharged. It's, I think, a V8 turbocharged, something like that. It's just a rare vehicle you see these days because it's an older vehicle, and from what I understand, it's got a bit of a turbo issue, but I don't know if that's fixed or not, or we haven't really had enough drivers in it, so we don't really know any of its pros and cons as you start setting sectors now. Got 9 people right now. Now that's an interesting person decided to show up this today. Speaking of returning people,
Toker
Spliff. He's in the Porsche. He's raced the Porsche every season so far. He was a very good midfield driver. He was always the driver which, if the top 3 had an incident, he would always be the one to pick it up and make the most of it. He was very good at that, being as consistent to keep pace down. So it's nice to see him back as well. It's sort of a reunion going on right now in terms of some of the drivers which are showing up today for this race.
Yeah. It's interesting. Don't know why that's happening right now. Suddenly everyone's returning, but
well, more drivers the better, as we always say, because
yeah, for sure.
As Charlie Darling sets the, I believe, according to here, this is the fastest first sector right now, at least. A 1:31.320. That's faster than Jensen's first sector. Can't see what Thomas Jensen's first sector is though right now because he's on a new lap, I believe. Let's see what Charlie Darling can do. Maybe the Alpina is not as slow as people thought. Maybe it is a very quick car and just is a hidden gem which people have not unlocked. But then again, he's 0.3. He loses time in the second sector though. But a very tidy Scary chicane then, so as we start getting a few more times rolling in now. He comes across the line. What's he set? He puts himself P2, but he's still 0.7 a second down. So I don't know how much is that down to the car or how much he's. But he had a very good first sector though. So there he is. Up on board to Tom Dentist now, who is not quite as close in the first sector right now. But see what he can set overall. Are getting a bit loose for the Ascari chicane then. I believe his lap's been aborted though because he's not setting any of his sectors now. Speaking of another person that's returning this time, the person we mentioned who changed the vehicle earlier on, Andy Hireman's back on track in the Audi. the old Audi, which is surprising. Not the new one. Similar sort of vintage to the Alpina. But let's see how quick this thing will be. It should be... I don't know how quick it is. I haven't seen much of them in the top driver anyway. Use that sound. As the server slowly gets filled up over time. Remember, we've still got plenty of time for drivers to come in, so this is not how many drivers we have right now. It's only 5 times as well, so...
An interesting thing about the Alpina, I was keeping an eye on the speed through the main straight, and it reached 269 kilometers an hour, which is on the high side.
So that'll be interesting then. That'll be an interesting car. I expect it to be like that, because one thing is a general rule, is the older GT cars are generally a bit faster in a straight line, because it's just the nature of the aerodynamics of them. The older ones have a bit simpler aerodynamics, the newer ones generally have a lot more, so they're generally a bit quicker to balance it out. The BOP puts a bit more power on them to allow them to go a bit faster in the straights, but they make up the time they lose in the corners. So that'd be an interesting fact to see if maybe that car was the good choice here. I'm still watching Dario Hammerman go around the Lesmos right now. See what sort of time he can set himself.
I will say right now he's still 7 tenths down on Thomas Jensen, but of course we don't know the fuel loads here.
Yep, that's always one thing we don't know, and we can't really work out, apart from maybe look at people's times, is the fuel load to people as he enters, I believe he invalidated his lap. Yeah, it seems like he has, fortunately. So let's quickly hop on board with Charlie Darling. He set a fastest sector 1 time, not much slower than sector 2. He's definitely quicker this lap than last lap. He lost fast lap. Let's see if we can get what time he crossed the line at. He improves. Does improve, but he's not still over half a second slower than Thomas Jensen in the Bentley.
Meanwhile, Tim Haynes has joined in the Porsche. I'm not sure that's the right car. I think he's, according to the website, he should be in the McLaren.
Looks like we're gonna have to do a quick check of this quickly. It may be a case of a registration error, so we've got to be careful when we start doing this. So we're just going to have to quickly check what cars he used in his last couple of races. So as we do this, let's quickly hop on to Charlie Darling again, who keeps setting a faster sector 1 and loses out in the second sector. So I don't know, maybe the car is very quick in the first sector, but just can't make the pace up in the second. As he enters the pit now, there's a quick thing to remember about this pit lane is the speed limit line is very close to the end, so you got to do a lot of braking before you enter it, as you can hear by the siren going off there. That is the pit entrance. That's where you got to be slower than 80 kilometers per hour in this pit lane. On board once again with Tom Dentis as we get a couple more times coming in now. Andrew Heilman's at a time now.
.12 people in the server now, so starting to fill up.
Yep. There were a couple who have yet to set lines. Timothy Haynes, Anton Kovalainen, Dragos Bibe, Toka Spliff, and Vistendru have yet to set times yet. So there's still plenty of time to get things underway. Quick update on Timothy Haynes. I believe it was he won't get penalties for changing car because he's only entered one race, which was Sepang, was Sandthorpe in the Porsche. So it was just a registration error, or he changed his mind before his race. Because the rules are that if you can change your vehicle until the race day, as soon as you do a race, then it's decided. And then Tom Dennis apparently decides to slam the handbrake on then. So that's a quick update on Timothy Haynes, that he just needs to be changed via the admins at some point. It's not an issue. It's good, because we don't want to give people penalties all the time. The rules are there to stop people still cheating, but they're not there to just be used all the time for the sake of ruining people's days.
I'll just change this car over on the website.
Yep, that'd be great.
Of course, we're doing commentary right now, but we're also the league admins, so
Those are the league admins.
bit busy.
We got. If you want to understand what situation I'm in trying to do all this, I have 5 screens right now. One of them is a laptop, and it's maybe at some point we'll do behind the scenes of this, because this is. If you want to know something, this is not as easy as people think it is to get all this stuff running and make it work in any shape or form. It's not an easy job. So, as what Toka
Yeah, I'm making full use of my 3 monitors right now.
So as Toka Spliff starts his timed lap. His first timed lap of this season. He's not entered any race before, but he is back now for this race. Let's hope he gets a good result, because he's a very nice person. I've talked to him personally, I've raced with him, and he's a very nice person, and it'd be nice to, on his first race back to the OVRC, he gets a good result. You want everyone to have fun. So, as he enters the second chicane right now, it does have a name. It's Italian. I'm not going to bother pronouncing it, unfortunately. I don't want to really risk botching up names as much as I already do. There's a quick interesting thing to know. The top 4 are all within 1 second of Jensen, but none of them are within half a second. So, interesting to see if anyone can get closer right now. Again, we don't know what fuel those people are running. Some people may be running a set of high fuel load runs, and maybe doing qualifying runs. So we can't just judge everyone's pace based on this. Okay, that's a very slow sector 2 then. You're 1.8 seconds down, so getting used to the car again. May seem like that may be what's going on right now. The end is line. Now, one thing you may note on this configuration in race 2, the start-finish timing line is quite a bit further along than other sims do. Puts himself into P9. Kovalainen coming out the pits now as well. The session slowly starts to get a bit busy now as people slowly start joining and making their way out on timed laps. It's still looking like Thomas Jensen is the favourite coming into this race, and it was expected, even with all the worries about top speed of cars. It was always going to be seen as he was going to hold this race pretty much to himself. But we don't know yet. Again, it could be a case of everyone else running a bit higher fuel load just to get some practice in, rather than worry about getting good laps in right now. There's still 38 minutes left in the session, so there's no need to rush.
Stephen Higgins has also joined the server now, and the Corvette. So there's 13 people.
Track slowly gets starts getting busier and busier.
Any regulars we're still missing out on?
I think there's a couple. There's Robert Nygaard's yet to get on. As we hop on board now, Thomas Jensen is set fast sector 1. He's looking to improve his times. A bit wobbly there on the grass. We'll be careful about that. And too much time on the grass, because that will not be the best way of dealing with things.
Right, Kevin Neff has also joined the server in the Nissan.
Yep. And he sets a faster sector 2 as well, Thomas, as he's looking to extend his lead right now in the time department. Then just the Parabolica now. See what time he sets himself. As he dives into the pits. So that's his lap done. By quite pulling some pit stop practice in this race due to the nature of the track, the way the pit stop is laid out. Yeah, he's just going for a fuel run, it seems, right now. Or not. So let's have a look around then, as Marcus once again have an issue in the same corner, I believe. Oh no, it's the first Lesmo this time. He spun in the second Lesmo already. And he spun again in the first Lesmo. Does not seem to be having the best of times right now. As Van Johnson is also setting personal best sectors right now. Looking to get a bit higher up the order. He's right now on P5 right now, 1.1 second off the pace. Lap is so far looking quicker. Thomas Dentis, we failed to realise this, but Thomas Dentis has improved his time now. He's now under the half a second mark. Thomas Jensen also improves his time to a 1:48.34. As Sebastian Brunier is now on the server as well, bringing the total cars right now up to 14 of this current race, with 34 minutes left to go in the session. Lions improving his first sector as well in the McLaren. It's right behind Toka. Let's see if we can catch him then, because get closer. Doesn't look like he can.
Apologies for the lifetime being a bit messed up right now. I have some issues with race room. I seem to have a bit of crashing, but I seem to have figured out the reason now. So hopefully I'll be able to avoid that in the future.
Overline gets a bit closer to the back of Toka Sliff's Porsche. Let's see what time he can set himself, as he's right behind him now. Getting a bit of slipstream on the start-finish straight. This may help him set a quicker lap. He's not pulling away though, past he pulls out the slipstream, and he improves his time, I believe, but he doesn't look like he's not gaining as much speed. As soon as he pulls out the slipstream, he's losing speed, it seems. There may be an issue with the McLaren coming out in this case. Remember, anyone who's watching this, if you want to participate in this race, you feel interested to do it, you can do it. There's a sign up link in the description below where you can sign up and join our Discord and have a good old discussion with people about it and join this, what it seems to be such a good season so far with such close racing all over the field.
Yeah, definitely. It's been very exciting to watch.
And it's not just quick drivers here, we've got all sorts of skill levels. It's quite a diverse field, so don't feel left out. They're saying, oh, I'm not up to pace. I'm not up to pace with Thomas Jensen. He is a quick driver. But there's also a couple of slow people who will enjoy having other company as well.
Yeah, for sure. And of course, we have a very helpful community in our Discord. So if you have any issues or you're looking for suggestions to improve your racing, then I'm sure there will be people in there who would like to help you out.
Just watch Jensen make a pass. He loses it. Bit of oversteer then or something, but the car just twitches a bit, and he's. I mean, it's not very. It was not a personal improvement right now that lap, but sort of makes Eddie choke it. He pulls into the pits now. Speaking going faster, Thomas Jensen is once again trying to make the lap time even quicker. Because he can. I think at this point he's just showing off the fact that he is the quickest car on track by quite a bit now. Will be interesting to see if anyone can get close to him at this point. Bentley just seems to be the perfect car for every track apparently right now. Well, if anyone's concerned of looking at the lifetime about the fact that Kevin Naff's car is not technically under the same class, it is the same class, they're all bopped together. It's just the way that Racing does its ADAC license. That means it counts as a separate class. They all bolt together the balance, so it's not an issue about that. As Tom goes very wide for the Parabolica. Don't think that's going to continue as he returns to the pit. So right now, the person with the most laps right now is Jensen in the Nissan. 12 laps right now. It looks like he's trying to. Someone had a crash somewhere. Maybe that's Charlie Darling. He's just smashed into the barrier at the Parabolica. Looks like the Parabolica. Something either happened to him or he's not happy with his lap, and he continues going on with a bit of damage. So I don't know if that's going to be much use for anything. A bunch of cars enter the pit lane now. So far, still no clear victor in terms of who is the fastest right now. Oh, very much a case of just practicing getting laps in right now. Steve Higgins is set to improve his time again. He's in P11 right now. Robert Nygaard down the server, so that pretty much puts all the main players on the server now.
Yeah, 16 people in there now. Again, apologies for the lifetime being a bit messed up right now. That's just down to the way Racefilm transmits its data and a little crash I had earlier. So hopefully it should be alright for qualifying, and everyone sets a best lap right now. That should make it catch up.
Minute warning goes out a bit late. That's what happens when you try to manage everything at once. It's a bit of a chaotic thing as Daniel Heilman sets a fast sector 1 personal, but it's very wide at the exit of Ascari. Doesn't look like he's going to improve his time at all, and yep, there we go. Heilman's now sort of setting his first lap. I believe so. A lot of dust being kicked up to the end of out of the Ascari chicane. It seems everyone goes a bit wide. Bastian Brunier puts the fastest sector 1 time in though.
Yeah, I saw that. I was wondering if it was down to my issues, but no. Apparently he did. That's quite unexpected. Unless there's some fuel stuff going on here.
He's a bit slow in sector 2 compared to the best, but seems to be that the Corvette, he managed to hook it up and maybe he can get some good laps in. Be interesting to see. He was a very strong player in last season, season 2 at the beginning, and towards the end of it lost a lot of his pace, it seemed, to the McLaren. This season, not been the best season for him so far, but if he's back to form, it'd be great, because... And he goes up, there's a bit of time there in the Parabolica, a bit too much curb on the inside. It'd be nice again to see another set of drivers rising to the challenge. Let's see if he can keep his form going on this lap towards the final. Puts up to P4, but I think he lost a lot of his time in the Parabolica by taking too much curb then. I think that's where he lost most of his time. Lucas Spliff is once again another quest to improve himself. Trying to make his way up the order. Keeps himself P12, I believe. Trying to use himself up a bit.
Kevin Neff also trying to get his fastest lap in. He hasn't really set a fast lap yet. He is being closely followed by Charlie Darling.
Bastian Brunier is a bit quicker this lap now than his last lap, so let's see if he can challenge it once again. He's got fastest sector 1 time, very quick sector 2 time, not quite on the pace, but is still very close to what Thomas Jensen set. That Corvette is on fire right now in terms of pace. And not literally on fire, because that would be unfortunate. He's in the same corner, he lost a lot of time last time. Goes very wide in the Parabolica. Let's see what time he sets and he pulls in the pits. Bit too quick then. Again, that's going to catch some people out, I think. The pit entry is going to catch some people out, I believe.
Yeah, definitely need some practice to get that pit entry right.
"24 minutes left in the session." Got Timothy Haynes to improve his sectors right now. Into the Ascari. Quite a tricky corner to get right. You gotta like judge how much curb you want to take, and you also gotta worry about going wide at the end. So it may look very simple from here, but when you're down there trying to get a quick lap out, it's not an easy corner at all.
Yeah, you need to find the right balance with the curb.
He crossed the line. Let's see if he can move himself up at all. No, he doesn't. He stays exactly the same as he was before. Vibe is looking to improve his position right now in P10 right now in the Nissan. Let's go. Should we get a quick rundown of the order right now on this practice session? Might as well just do something to do. Right. Current orders: Thomas Jensen in P1, followed by Tom Dentis, Charlie Darling, Sebastian Brunier, Mark Whitford, Stephen Jensen, Andy Highwayman, Atin Kovalainen, Victor Berlin, and Jogis Bybit round off your top 10 drivers. As I believe, we should have a quick break from us so we can get some refreshments and stuff. So we'll be back in a jiffy. Hello once again everyone, we are back from the quick break as everyone still continues on their practice sessions to see if anyone can improve where they currently are standing in this practice session. Dandy Highwayman's right now right behind the back of Dendru's Bentley. Interesting match to see. The Audi versus the Bentley in a straight line. Pulls out. Does seem like he's got a bit more speed. This Mick goes round him. The power rocket is a passing opportunity, but it's very easy to get defended on it. He makes his way past. Let's see if he improves his time at all with all that slipstream. Looks like he... Does he? I need to check. Quickly, blah, blah, blah. No. Yeah, it does not. Half a second down. Gaff is setting personal fastest sectors right now as well. Up over the curb. Where he puts his car. We go going into the final 18 minutes of the session. 15 cars currently on the server. We will practice pit stops, it seems. Let's see if Naf can move himself up the order at all. Yes, he does. Puts himself to P10. The improvement, but he's losing time in the final sector. Is this going to be another case of final sector? Everyone's losing the time again. It may be. Got a couple of people going around track now. No one's really improving their times. A lot of people seem to get off tracks, it seems, right now, which is cutting a lot of people's times short. Speaking of nothing happening, Kevin Naff is improving his first sector again. Let's see if we can move himself up from P10 right now. Still not that close yet to Thomas Jensen's time. He's still got the fastest time on the server. We now have 16 cars once again. There's Hakkinen now on the server in 59. McLaren. Yes. Now keeps improving his time. No, he doesn't. Dives off into the pits. Is he slowed up on pit entry? Probably not. Looking at the live timing. This is your current leader in the session right now. Not like he can improve his time at all. Doesn't really need to right now. He's got the fastest right now. Speaking of going faster, Robert Nygaard sets a personal fastest Sector 2 time. He's all the way down the order in P13. Bit wide out the parabolica. Probably ends his lap, unfortunately, right there and then. Let's see what time he can set. And nope. There's a bit dangerous there. Woo! Gonna be doing that. That's a bit dangerous just to put the handbrake on mid. Great. Andrew is also trying to look to his time, right? He is currently in P15. I think the current spot where people seem to be losing time is the Lesmos. And by the time people lose out of that sector. First sector. 2 seconds down. 2 seconds down on the current. Crossett heads towards the start finish line. Let's see what way he can put his Bentley. Puts it, keeps it in the same position it seems. Does improve his time, but doesn't look like he can move himself up the order at all. A lot of people are improving their times. Tom Dentis is looking to improve his time. And so he puts his McLaren. Doesn't improve his time. People are setting Masters personal bests right now. Vicky Haynes is doing the same, so is Dandy Highwayman. And Hakkinen is also yet to set a time, so as we enter the final, over that, we're in the final 13 minutes of the session. Vicky Haynes comes through the parabolica. and he session.
We've got 17 people in the server right now, so pretty good turnout.
Yeah, pretty good turnout. 17 is. Woolby is finally entered. I was wondering where he was. He is the person I was thinking was missing. He entered with 12 minutes left in the session, so a lot of people seem to be setting. 4 people are setting personal private improvements. As Tom Denton just goes past Toka Spliff. Toka Spliff's not in the best return though, is he? He's 3 seconds off the pace. Not what you expect him, but again, I haven't seen him race in a while, so he may just lost a lot of. Bit rusty, to say that.
Yeah, could be. I don't know how much he has done in terms of practice so far, but yeah, not looking too good for him so far. Hopefully he can find his pace again.
As we got news, unfortunately, from Atten Carvalho, it looks like he is not going to be racing this race. He's just for just not feeling it right now. He's not feeling well apparently, so unfortunately he won't be here, which is a shame. But he's a very good racer. He's very solidly in the midfield fight. But we'll see, as I believe someone just improved their time.
Yeah, it was Kevin Neff.
Kevin Neff jumps all the way up to 8th place. So that's a very good time by him. Put himself all the way up there. Owen's got a very good first sector though, goes very wide to the first Lesmo though. Fortunate, but he's looking to move himself up. And he loses it. Oh, he's in the barrier. Big impact there. Big.
Only in 7th position so far.
Yeah.
Looks like he can't really find the pace on this track. He was saying on Discord earlier that he was having a difficult time.
Balls Nath again, and team improved his first sector. The Lesmo seems to be
the second sector.
the Lesmo seems to be the spot of the most incidents right now by people self. People seem to be spinning out there, so not a particularly good sign for the mid-engine cars, as if they're having issues there. So, as we soon enter the last 10 minutes of the session, have another dropout, it seems. Look at who it was. Had 16 cars in the server. Dawn has left session. That doesn't look like he's improved time, or does he? He does improve it. Again, so Nath seems to be on a roll right now, improving his pace. He's all the way up to P8 right now, which I think is his best current result in this season so far. Haynes is looking to do the same. He's in the P11 spot. You have 15 cars in server. We did have 17. I kind of wonder where 2 went. Woolby's back on the server. That means we have 6. Still missing one more car. Not Kovalainen. So, I'm trying to work out who he is.
Thijs Dendo appears to have left the server.
That's who it is. Yeah, there we go. He is still in the Discord chat, so I think he may just be disconnecting to fix something and coming right back on, hopefully.
Yeah. Let's hope he manages to fix this issue, if there is one, in time for the race.
Yep.
Qualifying.
As Timmy Kane gets hounded by Thomas Jensen, he gets a way better exit there. But doesn't overtake, so he decides to drop back, it seems. So he's not very interested in trying to overtake people. As Haynes goes very wide there. Couple improvements now as Haynes goes into the gravel. And Ventus enters the pits. Take a spliff, moves himself up to P10. That's more like it. He's improved his time massively then. all the way now in P at 10. We're a time of 1:49.376. So he seems to be slowly finding his way back in. Still not where he was, but he's slowly finding his way up there.
Yeah, just getting into the rhythm again after a long leave.
Häkkinen's yet to set a time yet in his McLaren. As we have another Volbe's dropped off the server again. Dendru's not back yet, so see what happens now as we enter the under 7 minutes to go very shortly. It's going to be an interesting race. I think some packs are fairly close. You'll see a couple of packs sort of slowly emerging in terms of pace. So it should be interesting.
Yeah, I'm a bit worried for the battle at the top though. So far, Jensen seems to be running away with it.
I think that might be a case of, like, the McLaren issue may have been sort of pushed aside, people saying it's fine, and then really, when it matters, Jensen just pulls that out, and now no one can get near it. The McLaren issue maybe was, because right now, 0.3 of a second off the pace. Well, you don't know exactly what sectors they're in though, right now, unfortunately. So if we need that information, it'd be very useful, but we don't. So, wait and see as Häkkinen sets his first time lap now, as he's in the first sector now. I'm still surprised how good the Alpine is running right now. I mean, it's half a second off the pace, but for a car which has never been run before, for a driver who's barely driven before, since taking a break since the end of season 2, and he's right up there in like the very strong top P3 position at a podium. If this is the final race result, which obviously it isn't because it's practice.
Did Dandy Harriman just set a fastest sector 1, or is that my timing glitching out again?
No, he set a faster sector 1 time. In sector 2 now, he's very close to the pace right now. Will this be a position to put himself into P2? The car goes a bit sideways then. But Jensen's also set fastest global sectors, so the case where looks like Thomas Jensen's extending his lead right now. Let's look at the live timing.
Yeah, Thomas Jensen definitely seems to be faster than the Harriman at the moment, but he is close.
Getting very close. Let's see what time he sets now as he crosses the line. He puts himself into P3. Half a second. He lost a lot of time during that final sector. But again, he's another driver slowly getting there. Let's see what Jensen's doing. He's got 2 fastest sectors now. As he crosses the line, where does he extend his lead to? Improve. Final sector. Once again, final sector. It just seems to be where everyone's losing. And he pulls off now, off the first corner.
Mark Woodford just set a fastest sector 1.
By a significant amount actually this time. That's not a small amount, that's quite a big jump.
There's a lot of time for sector 2 though.
Yeah.
I think sector 1 is maybe just a very strong sector for him.
Sector 1 seems to be the sector where most people seem to be beating Thomas Jensen. So it may be a case where that's where the Bentley is just losing out a bit. Or maybe it's first chicane he's having issues with. And everyone else is struggling everywhere else. Because that seems to be the general story right now. Lucas Spliff has left the server and rejoined.
Testendo has also joined the server again.
So Wolby is still not back on the server. He's so I don't know what's going on with him. If you want to know who's sending the most laps right now, it's still Seven Jensen. 18 laps set in the session. So he's put a lot of laps in, it seems, to try and get him somewhere. He's right now all the way in P7. So, 148.8 time. Omen improves his sector 1, doesn't improve sector 2. I don't think the Audi's has got the grunt on the straight line, because the Porsche is right beside him, he's not getting past it. Both brake into the first corner, just outbrakes him. As that car skips over all the curbs then, in a very un-Audi manner. The Audi is one of those cars which seems to not like curbs, but then again, it's the older spec, maybe a bit softer, a bit more comfortable over those curbs as we enter the last 2 minutes of the session. Past to sector 1 again. And he loses the back end there. Spins, lights up the rears, and that's that lap over, unfortunately, Andy. So the first sector is the sector where everyone seems to be able to beat Thomas right now. They can't hook up a lap in the rest of the sectors, it seems.
Yeah, that's very interesting.
Oh, he's weaving all over the track. Once we set a time, yeah. So I think this is going to head towards the final order of this session now. And I don't think anyone will be able to set a new lap time now. As we're going to enter the driver's briefing. I'm still very surprised about how well the I mean, the Alpine now has definitely dropped down a couple of places now. It's in P5 now, but it's still doing very well for a first outing in that car.
Yeah, also been a while since we've seen Charlie Darling in action.
Sebastian Brunier puts a faster sector 1 again. Maybe that's why the Corvette's very strong, because he's having a good sector 1 right now. He doesn't seem to be able to get anywhere else close. I mean, we're interested to see how good Thomas is in the race, because he may be very good at getting his laps out, but we don't know how well he's going to be doing that race.
Yeah, of course, we still do not know what kind of fuel those people are on right now.
I mean, Thomas was on a streak of setting faster and fastest laps, so he could have been just keep going and going and going until basically the last lap having fumes in the tank. As we now have less than 10 seconds until this session ends.
Victor Berlin is also improving his first and second sectors significantly, but he will not have the time to end his lap, so
Brunier
he will not know where he ends up, but I'm sure he could do better than 11th.
That is the session over. As we now enter the driver's briefing.
Yeah, I'll start the driver's briefing in the meantime. Hope everyone's joined now. So welcome to Monza. Back in the GT3s from the crazy races last week in the touring cars. Just remember that these cars are a bit more sensitive to trading paint. It's a bit less accepted in these cars because it's a lot more dangerous. For the track specific stuff, be a bit careful in turn 1 braking because you really can overestimate your braking performance in the slipstream. You have to brake quite a bit earlier, so it's the best to just brake out of the slipstream to get the best performance. And then there's a few points about track limits, because you may have noticed in practice that you get your lap deleted quite easily in the second chicane on the exit, or not on exit, on the inside of the right-hander, and on the left-hander of the Vascari exit on the inside. We will just enforce the same rules as in the game, so if you touch your outside wheel on the curb as well, that's basically counted as track cutting. So if you do that consistently to gain time, you will get a penalty. So just try to not do it. It can happen accidentally, that's not a problem. If we see you do it obviously, then on purpose, then you may get a penalty. Yeah, and there's not much more to say. I guess one thing is that you run a lot of fuel on this track. I think the Bentley is about 190 liters versus 170 liters on other tracks, so keep that in mind on your pit stop. Does anyone have anything to add?
I will just quickly add from watching is be careful in pit entry. There's not much time to slow down coming off the track. The line is very, very short up near the track, so just be careful entering the pit lane.
Yeah, good point. If you haven't done so, just practice it in qualifying. It's quite important, because a drive-through penalty will cost you the race.
Can I say something?
Of course.
If you go into the pit, make sure to not run wide in Parabolica and then cut to the inside, because I've seen a lot of that happening in like not OVRC but like other races where people that need to go in the pit are somehow on the other side of the track and they cut people off going into the pit. And like Alex said, you have to slow down quite early.
Yeah, so if you're close to someone, just make sure you make it obvious that you're on the inside. Okay, I think that's it then. And everyone is free to start qualifying. Good luck.
So,
Alright, and off we go for qualifying. 17 drives in this session.
yep, as Mark Whitford once again gets the jump, it seems. He seems to be very good at doing that. As there's a big queue behind him now of cars coming through. He's quite able to get track position right now. A couple of cars behind weaving. I don't see really the point where everyone's jumping out again. Like it's a. When I was racing still, I made it very clear that I would wait a bit and then go out about a couple of seconds after everyone else had gone out to see a lot of track room.
Yeah, I just waited about a minute in the pit lane before I went out. So then you tend to get quite a large gap behind and in front of you. So yeah, not sure why everyone just goes out immediately. Maybe they're just a little bit overexcited.
Maybe it is the case, but so everyone's sort of weaving down the main straight, trying to get a bit more tyre temp, I guess, because you lose a lot of it on this track. It's a very long straight, you've got a lot of chance, and that's a lot of weaving. That is a lot of weaving as you watch Mark Whitford going through the Ascari chicane now.
Also a reminder, if you want to keep a closer eye on this qualifying session, we now offer a live timing stream. We're using the multicam feature in YouTube, so just press the little camera button on your player and you can open up the live timing.
So as Mark Whitford enters the Parabolica now, looks like he's going to get a fairly clean lap in, because no one else is in front of him. So let's see what time he can set as he starts his first timed lap of this Monza session. With less than 20 minutes left in the session now to cross the line, off he goes. The big train behind him, so you better not muck up or he's going to be stuck in that for a while. First chicane takes it, heavy braking zone, get the exit right, otherwise you'll lose a lot of time. Oh, really good idea. How about we go in cockpit cam, because and actually see what it's like from the driver's point of view as we go around the circuit. The very, very gentle turn 2 enters into the chicane, second chicane now. Use a bit of the curb, use a lot of curb then. Goes around the first Lesmo. Use all the exit curb you can. For the second Lesmo now, inside curb, outside. And you got this.
So the fastest first sector so far has been set by Charlie Darling with 41.2.
Yep, you're gonna keep track of everything going on right now as he enters the first Ascari corner break. Just quite a lot of curb length. This configuration doesn't have the sausage curbs on the entry, so it's a bit more lenient. As he now heads back to the back straight now towards the Parabolica. Ironman's looking like he's got a very good sector 2 right now.
Yeah, he's got a 35.7, but certainly goes as a 35.9 right now, so Yeah, everyone has set the fastest sector 2 so far.
Mark Whiffen has a bit of lock up into the Parabolica, but now on the start finish straight, what time will he set for the first time lap?
Although that said, Thomas Jensen just set a sector 2 of 35.6.
And Charlie Darling sets the fastest sector, immediately pinches off 148.4. Still not close to where people.
Tom
Sebastian
Dentist did a 35.5 in sector 2.
now on board with Thomas Jensen as he goes around the Parabolica. Fastest sector 1 and 2. Let's see what time he can set himself up, as he seems to be the quickest person on track in practice. Let's see if he can continue this, as Tom Dentist is the first to set a 47. Why does Thomas Jensen put himself P2? He's himself P2 right now. Tom Dentist is a 10th off what? Or 100th off what? Thomas
Jensen seems to be the fastest through sector 1, but he loses time compared to Dentist in sector 2 and 3. Which is interesting, considering that sector 1 was where Jensen was losing out earlier in practice.
So, Charlie Darling, fastest sector 1 in the Alpina. The first time this car has been running in the series. Let's see where he can put this car. First time he's on his return as well, so there's a return race. Let's see where he can put himself. He enters the Ascari chicane now. Loses time in sector 2. Thomas Jensen's also improving his sector times as well.
Jensen's back into the pits. Has aborted his lap, not sure why.
Yeah, Charlie Darling can do as he enters the last corner now through the Parabolica down the start finish straight. Let's see what time he can set himself up as. Puts himself P3. Still a lot off the pace though. So once again the battle between Tom Dentist and Thomas Jensen begins. These two are a lot quicker than everyone else's right now. Saying that, Toka Spliff, fastest sector 1. He's putting some speed down now after having what was a really poor practice session. He seems to be, I mean, he's lost a lot of time in sector 2 though, but fastest sector 1.
Yeah, 31.3, which is quite good compared to the 31.4 set by Dentist.
Can put himself now. Is this again another returning driver? Took a long break and didn't race in any races before this point. Let's see if he can put himself in at Porsche 911.
Then the Highman just put himself in 9th. He'll be looking to improve that.
Lose a lot of time in sector 3 though. Toki puts himself P6. Hyman faster sector 1. Just the times keep dropping everywhere. Everyone's saying faster sectors. We don't know who is mostly the first sector though. As I didn't realize Tom Dennis set a 47.2. Fastest lap of this race. Not really weekend, but we can call it that so far. And loses out a lot in the sector 2 though, Hyman. It looks like Tom Denton has managed to either you're doing some sort of sandbagging or just running high fuel runs during the practice session and now decided to go and unleash the fuel potential of that McLaren. Because that is a quick time. As Hyman crosses the line, what time does he set himself? Up to P6, 1.2 seconds off the. Nath is looking to improve himself up. He's right now P11. Puts himself all the way up to P7. That's quite the jump. Higgins is now going to cross the line.
Neff has lost it in the first chicane. He's back into the pits.
Higgins will improve his time, I don't believe. Doesn't. Off. Charlie Darling, fast sector 1 again. Let's see if that Alpina can get himself on pole. Oh, and Son loses behind. Dragus Bibe, I believe, hits the wall behind.
Yeah, that was Dragus Bibe.
Wait, am I reading that correctly? That Dragus Bibe is apparently P3.
Yeah, that's very interesting.
I didn't believe it. I was
Haven't
like
seen him
looking
there
for him
before.
where he was on the spectator tool, and he's all the way up in P3. Well, great lap from him then.
Yeah, that was very, very unexpected.
So
Only 2 drivers in the 147s right now. Those are Dantes and Jensen. Everyone else hang out in the 48s, 49s. Dendo's still 51.
as Charlie heads across the line now, where can he put his? The Alpina moves up to P3, so he's now very on the border of a 48, but it's not, or a 47 I meant.
Yeah, 48.0 right now.
Robert Nygaard starts setting his first lap. Fortunately, let's go to Mark Whitford, who sets the fastest sector 1 time. Improved once again on what Charlie Darling has improved. Just reading the chat now, Dragos Bive is saying the slipstream was what caused his lap, and why some people say that's not very skillful. Well, it's racing. He's used all the advantage he got given and he took it. And now look where he is now, P4.
Yeah, exactly.
Second row grid right now. Let's see if anyone else can get close. Okay, this track is very heavy on the slipstream, and we mentioned it in the start of this broadcast that it'll be very much a case about slipstream, and in the race it should be a lot of as Mark Whitford gets a bit loose through the Escari chicane. He's got Thomas Jensen behind, who starts weaving now to warm his tyres up. It's very wide. That weaving is always really uncertain when they're going that speed. They're going a little bit too fast, it seems, and they look like they're going to lose control any second. Whitford goes very wide out the Parabolica. He's all the way down P8 right now. He was about P3 during practice. Let's see.
Yeah, I believe so.
So he puts himself P5. Guess who improved the first sector and set the global first sector time? It's Sebastian Brunier.
Sebastian Brunier.
As he improves the first sector time once more in the Corvette. The Corvette seems very strong though.
Yeah, for sure. Seen all the Corvette drivers doing very well in Sector 1. Maybe this is a coincidence, or maybe it's something with the car.
That Corvette did last BOP update got a big hefty boost in power, I remember rightly. It got very heavily bopped before the season, and then before the season started there's a BOP change, and it got a massive increase in power, I believe. Well, not massive, but it had its straight line speed back, which is what it had before, and now it seems like it's doing very well for itself.
Thomas Jansen has set a new fastest Sector 1, 31.1.
Well, that's going to be interesting to see if he can get.
It's coming up to the end of Sector.
If he's chasing down the back of Mark Whitford, to see what these two put themselves.
Yeah.
I believe he's
timing for Jansen just disappeared, so I think his lap got
deleted.
invalidated.
The stewards weren't happy with that, even though there's no stewards. There's the AI ones.
Just put himself up into P5, I think.
What Naff did. But if he did, yes, he put a 148.2. So just behind Dragos Vibe. Mark does not improve his position, and his last lap was invalidated, so I can't tell. That was a.
Yet again, Brunier has improved.
It's all very small improvements. And Hacken apparently was doing a 47, but ran out of fuel on the exit of the Parabolica.
Oh, that hurts.
So that's not good for him, as he's
all the way down in P15 right now.
Speaking of people very low down, the person that's not set a time yet is Victor Berlin.
And Jordan Welby. Both have not set the time yet.
He's having
Victor
technical
Berlin is
issues.
out on track.
He's having technical issues apparently.
Okay.
So.
Right, I'm not seeing him show up in the spectator controls, but he is in the live timing. Yeah, let's hope we can get this issue sorted out before the race starts.
Yep, now Sebastian
In,
puts himself
about 8
P3.
minutes from now.
P3, so
Wow,
still
that's a very strong time from Sebastian.
0.02, 0.002 increase over Charlie Darling's time. Still not broken the 47 barrier. But it looks like someone else is trying to. Thomas Jensen, as he improves Sector 1, loses time out in Sector 2, but personal best still. Let's see if we can keep it in the Parabolica. Once again, I think it is surprising once again is the fact that Tom Dentist comes out in qualifying and just smashes the entire grid. Everyone thought Thomas Jensen was going to have this race pretty much in the bag. And here he comes. And oh, there we go. Thomas Jensen puts himself a pole position. 0.035 quicker than Tom Dentist. So I don't think Tom Dentist has only put out 3 laps though. So not put many laps out. So let's see if we can use
Dandy Hireman is looking fast right now. So he's looking to improve his position. He's down in 8th, which is not where he should be. Crosses the line now.
Loses a bunch of time in the final sector.
Yeah.
And he loses the control and into pain.
Then though, coming up to the final corner now, we're looking to get out of P15.
Yep, all the way down there right now. See what happens when he crosses the line. Mark Whitford's going to bunch of slipstream behind him though. P14 moves himself up 1 position. Victor Berlin still all the way back there as Mark Whitford looks to get past, but I don't know about that. That was a so Charlie Darling's looked to improve his times again. Can he get down into the doesn't. People are not getting the time up in the last sector though.
Looks like Nygaard broke too late for the chicane. So that's not going to be a fast lap for him.
Just a confirmation that CB unfortunately cannot make it due to outside commitments. He just said that in the stream chat as Haynes loses control. Unfortunately, that's one less driver out. Jorgen's is hoping to get his technical issues fixed, but he doesn't look like he's going to get a time in quali, so he's going to start all the way from the back of the grid. So he's going to have to hope for a very good start though. As Higgins is trying to improve his time, he's all the way back in P13. Let's see what time he puts himself in. He crosses the line. P12, move himself up 1 position. Oh.
Charlie Darling looking fast through Sector 2.
Yep, he's looking really... But the thing is, look at Sector 1 time. It's not the fastest, but look how close it is, though, to the actual fastest. That's the thing now. Sector 1 is such a fast area of track. You're gonna not see much improvement there, people. People are gonna get, like, very close times, but they're not gonna improve them. So I'm not really worried about it. It's more Sector 2 and Sector 3 where people can make the most time out. As Hakkinen puts himself into P13. Still 1 second.
Darling does not manage to improve again. He just can't seem to find the time through the last sector.
He flashes his way through, saying, "I'm going to go for another lap. Please get out my way."
Thomas Jensen sets fastest Sector 1 yet again.
I bet he does that, as I mentioned, oh, you're not going to see much improvement in Sector 1. He just says, nah, I'm just going to set the fastest Sector 1 now.
Berlin still.
Oh, he's very sideways there.
Oh.
And so is someone else, I think. Sebastian goes in the barrier. Sebastian Brunier goes straight into the barrier then. Gets a bit loose for the Ascari chicane. Don't want to be there. that's a... He just seemed to lose it on the curb. I don't think Jensen's going to improve his time. He goes very wide anyway, so it looks like... I don't think this lap is going to be much improvement over his best time.
You know, Berlin is still all the way down in last place, so that's pretty worrying for him that he still hasn't managed to get a good lap in so far in this qualifying session with less than 3 minutes to go. I think he'll have one more shot at it.
Iman's looking to improve his time. As some people... Let's see if we can put himself in. He crosses the line, puts it up to P3. So that's
that's more like it.
But if you look at the times between P3, 4, and 5, look how close they are to each other right now.
Yeah, although compare that to P2 and 1, it's quite a different story.
But he's now in P3, a position where, while his time is quite off the pace, it's a position where he should be. To be fair, he missed Zandvoort. He's changed car due to circumstances, and now it may not be the fastest time on the server, but he is back in where his position. And the race, anything can happen. It could be a massive pile-up in T1. Let's hopefully not have that happen, because we want a clean race, but you never know what might happen. As Wolby is now on the server, so hopefully his technical issues have been resolved and he can get that car out.
It seems Victor Berlin's lap has been invalidated, and with only a minute and a half left in the session, he's not going to get another lap in.
Yep.
He's back into the pits, so that'll be a 16th place, last place start for him.
Yep, as Charlie Darlings looks to improve his time. He might just have enough time to improve. He's got a skin of his teeth though. If he does improve his, he has enough time in the overall session. Lose a bunch in the second sector and go straight on. So that's aborted. Robert Nygaard doesn't have enough time to improve his overall time, I don't think. So I think this is going to be pretty much near the order we're going to see. Wolby's on the server though, luckily, but he's in the pit lane, probably not heading out. Hopefully he doesn't have any issues during the race.
Yeah, he does appear to have rejoined the server, so looks like he'll be starting from last place, but yeah, hopefully he'll be able to get something out of it.
Hopefully, because with the halfway point, points really matter. It's only 6 rounds in the series right now, so you want to get all the points you want. Robert Nygaard, just sort of finishing the lap, I guess. He's not going to improve anything, it seems. As this looks like they're pretty much the set order right now, as he just smashed it into the barrier, because sometimes there's no point keeping going. So, looks like there's your quick results of the top 16 before we head into the next session. And speaking of that, there we go. So, Thomas Jensen's on pole. Tom Dentist is very close behind him. It's all about the start now. All about... Right. Not the best camera for the start, I don't think. But whatever. We'll deliver it. Give you a quick start. Rear wing. There we go. Everyone's ready on the grid. Hopefully everyone's ready up in time. There we go. Right, we're going to go racing for 1 hour of Monza. The round 4 of the OVRC season. That's about to go green, and we're off. Danny Hyman gets a very good start though, it seems, as Jensen moves across to defend. Hyman moves into P2 right now. They make them all the way around the first chicane. And Hyman seems to get the jump on people.
Very well done for him, you know. Victor Berlin has made his way up into 14th, so he's gained a bunch of positions.
Wolby,
from
who
the
didn't even
start.
qualify, is in P13 right now.
Something seems to have happened to Higgins. Oh,
Higgins-
he's off into the pits.
He's already in the pits.
Yeah, I think he must have had a very nasty accident there. Or some sort of issue. He was down into the last place and
Oh,
then...
and Toka seems to have an issue as
back
well.
into the pit.
As Dandy's managed to
Yeah,
just...
Stoker, I think he missed the chicane. Second chicane.
He's all the way back, but remember it's an hour race, still got time to go. As Dandy Heilman is your current race leader. As it looks like Charlie Dyer trying to make a move onto Tom Dentist, who's got all the way back in P4 right now.
Not a good start for Dentist.
Not a good start at all, but let's hope that Dandy can keep this lead, as now Jensen's going to have all the slipstream in the world now as he's behind him. Quickly go to his car and see if he closes the gap. Doesn't look like he's close enough though. Dandy got a better exit. Speaking of that, Parabolica, both go very wide now.
Very close mid-pack right now for the Parabolica onto the main straight.
As Jace Jensen's right on the back of Dandy's car. He's going to soon try and pulls to the side. Does he make it? Doesn't look like he can make it. And Dandy gets a bit scruffy on the exit of that corner.
Oh, Bruno tried to overtake Dentist, but he got hit in the rear by one of the Nissans. I think that's Sven Jansen. It
Yes,
is.
Sven's dropped all the way back. A couple of positions have moved around in the midfield. We'll get back to them later as Jensen's going to make a move onto the Heilman. Heilman keeping his position right now. There's a lot of action going behind, as you can see on camera. You're making moves all over the place, but I mean, at this point, I wouldn't suggest all this. This just seems a bit risky, in my opinion.
It seems that Darling and Dentist are pulling away from the rest of the midfield.
Okay, we have a reason for Higgins' retirement. It seems to be a technical issue with equipment. He unfortunately has an issue with that and can't continue racing, which is a shame. He was doing alright this session and he has a very good chance to get a good points haul, so let's keep going then. I don't think he's in much of a mood for an interview though, as we know. As again, Jensen is back in the slipstream. Just a break very wide then, though. The midfield seems to have a lot of positions changing all over the place. I can't keep track of it.
Yeah,
I'm
me
trying.
neither. Actually, struggling to keep up with this.
I'm just gonna keep the leading fight as Jensen makes another move into the first chicane again. But Heilman's got the defensive line. You just can't pass there when you're at the defensive line. But Jensen does seem to have a better exit now.
Berlin has made his way up into P10.
Yep. As Wolby's now is moving to P12 as well.
Dentist getting close onto the back of Darling, coming out of the second chicane now.
Now, if you don't know something, this is reminding me from season 2. Beginning of season 2, the fight was not between Tom Dentist and Thomas Jensen. It was between Dandy Heilman and Thomas Jensen, and this is basically what happened. First race, it's all happening all over again. Let's see if Dandy Heilman can keep this position as he is. Enters his Scary. Very close to each other once again. But Andy just gets a better exit now. The bumper of the Bentley, but you can see the slipstream starting to kick in now. Looks for the gap around Parabolica. But Danny goes very slow now. Slips it just up the inside. think he's just about made it. Now it's now a drag to all the way to the first corner now. Dandy slots in behind. And if you want to keep track of the live timing, you just need to look at the gaps between the previous people, and it's just crazy as Dandy slips up the inside off the first chicane, and Dandy retakes the lead again. It looks like Tom Dentist's trying to make his move back on Charlie Darling, or I don't know. If I was those two, I would probably stop fighting now and just trying to just get the two leaders back in again, because
It's very close to fight between Haynes and Berlin right now. Berlin is trying to overtake, but so far Haynes has managed to keep him behind.
again, Tom just seems to be better.
Oh shit! Haynes is off.
Haynes is
I
off.
think he got hit by Berlin.
Yeah, he's dropping all the way back. All the way back. He's. Quickly just go over to him where he's back on track though, it seems, but yeah, he's lost a lot of positions there.
On the exit of the second chicane, I think he got hit by Berlin.
Yeah.
They were very close together, side by side through the previous corner, but yeah.
Once again, slips out the slipstream again. Tom, this fight for the first place though is getting pretty close, and this is like the less than 10 minutes to gone already, and these two are fighting like it's the last lap. Like, if I was them, I'd start worrying though, because each time they're fighting, they're bringing Charlie and Tom closer to them every time. Looks like Jensen's going for another move.
You know, Tom going up the inside. Oh, he had a look up the inside of Darling, but no opportunity to overtake just yet.
So, the current order as we enter the 8-minute mark: Dandy Heilman, Thomas Jensen, Charlie Tarling, Tom Dentist, Mark Whitford, Sven Jensen, Dragus Bibe, Sebastian Brunier, Victor Berlin, and Jorgen Wolby. May I add that Bibe is still 7th place. Like, he may have lost a couple of positions, but he's still doing very well right now.
Yeah, for sure.
As we just can't take our eyes off this lead fight right now. This is very close, but we might have to, because we probably should pay attention to a bit of the back mid markers right now, as we've got Bibe making a move on Jensen, the other Jensen in Nissan. It's a Corvette sandwich though right now there, as we've got Corvette, Nissan, Nissan, Corvette going down towards the Ascari chicane. Probably tries to look like he's trying to make a move up, but just can't get anything. Oh, and Dragus Bibe's in the wall. Dragus Bibe seems to have an issue out the Sky chicane. He's going to lose a lot of time. And that's really unfortunate for him, because he was doing so well now. But that's really unfortunate, I think. As Dentist is looking to try and make a move on Charlie. I think the
Top
Alpine
4 onto the main straight again. And, yeah, the Alpine seems to be pulling away slightly in the on the straight.
And so we'll move towards. Interesting line from Charlie there, pulling out to the outside rather than go for the inside line. But maybe it's just the line he feels more comfortable with. As Wolby looks like he's trying to make a move up onto Victor Berlin in the first chicane, side by side to make it move. Not quite. But Charlie's closing in on the back of Jensen, which means Tom is also closing in the back of both of them. As Wolby's looking at another go at his fellow countryman, his fellow Swede, into the second chicane now. He's got the inside line. Nothing Victor can really do.
Meanwhile, Häkkinen is getting very close to them behind.
Yep, and looks like he's going to slip through both of them. He's trying to slip through, and yep, he does. He moves up to gains a position.
Yeah, he took Berlin.
Right, great overtake there by Häkkinen. Didn't have a very good qualifying, but he's all the way up in P9 now. And he's looking to size up the back of Wolby. He's down the main straight now. All the slipstream they can get. And we're now definitely over. And I just realised I forgot to put the standings up.
Oh, so much. What happened there between Hakkinen and
Hakkinen
Berlin?
and Berlin had a bit of contact in the Sky Chicane. They both lost a couple of positions.
Quite a lot of contact.
Quite a lot of contact. I forgot to put the standings up. Sorry, everyone. Let's head to our leading fight now between Thomas Jensen and Dandy Hireman as they enter the first chicane again. Tom Dentis having an issue though. I think he can't get, as soon as he pulls out the slipstream of the Alpina, there's a bit of contact there. He just can't get close. That's going to be an issue that haunts all of them. But all four of them are getting very close now. All within, it's a half a second gap or less between all four of those cars now.
Yeah, maybe the straight line speed of the McLaren playing a part after all right now, or it's just the Alpine being very strong in the straight lines.
I think the Alpine has been very strong, but they lose a bunch of time then over in that corner. Trying to keep track of everything going on right now because there's a lot going on. It's very hard to keep track of it all. As we've got fights going all sorts. As Hakkinen is trying to make a move back on Berlin again, trying to take that position back that he lost. Unfortunately, there's going to be a lot of camera switching.
Going up the outside of Hireman, but not a good place to overtake.
Yep, they're moving to the sky. And this is the point where Vibe lost thing, but Tom Dentis is also very much at the back of Charlie Darling. Let's actually go on board with him and let's see if the issue's there, because he's now pulling to the side of it, and yeah, he's just losing pace.
Oh, Haynes is moving up the inside of Hakkinen. Did not have the enough room to overtake.
No. But it must be so frustrating for Tom Dentis right now because he just can't make the move work. He gets so close, but as we just saw this then, he just loses all the pace he can. Now, back in the first chicane again, Tom Jensen's got a very good run now. But he's got the outside line. And then... oh, they all get a bit close then. All bumper to bumper right there.
Yeah, Darling and Dentist are also getting very, very close to Jensen now.
Timothy Haynes right now at the back is trying to make a move onto Hakkinen. He's lost a bit of time onto Berlin. Right now, the standout drive for me though is Wolby. Wolby started right from the back and now on P8 overall. Didn't even qualify, had an issue through the entire time, and now is all the way in P8. And I
I'm not sure how he managed that, but very, very well done.
I think Thomas Jensen has lost a bunch of time in the Hireman, and now has got Charlie right behind him as well in the Alpina. Two very evenly matched cars in terms of top line speed, these two. These two are probably the closest. Let's see as they go through a Ascari. No, that's not an overtaking opportunity right there. Loses a bunch of time, unfortunately. Now Tom Dentis is right behind him as well. I told this race from the beginning was always going to be about the slipstream, and it's proven here. Once again.
Dentis has the inside line now.
But he's just losing time. He's just losing time. As soon as he pulls out that slipstream, he's losing time. Must be a very frustrating experience for him right now because he's sat behind that Alpina. It's like, I'm faster through all the corners. On the straights though, he just can't get anywhere close.
Just noticed Robert Nygaard has fallen very far behind. Not sure for how long that's been, but
I think he's had an incident to start and he's fallen really far back now, but opening his time up.
Yeah, he's about 10 seconds behind Dando now, so a lot of time to make up for.
I just realised something. I was just looking at the thing, and Dentis lost a bunch of time onto the back of Charlie Darling. So something obviously happened there.
He did.
This is always the issue when you try to do this thing. You lose concentration what you're meant to be looking at. I should try and leave you to do that timing stuff. I'll look at what's on the screen. Jensen now back on the charge again after Hyman. Hyman, remember, qualified P3 and is now P1 after what it was a great start by him.
Interestingly, Tom Dentis did go slightly faster than Charlie Darling on that last lap.
Oh, Tom Hyman goes very wide out of the scar and loses the position now to Tom Jensen. Jensen sweeps across the track. That's really unfortunate for Hyman, but now, remember, it's still less than 45 minutes left. Still got plenty of time. Still got pit stops. Got a lot to go on, but I do believe that Hyman's pushing his tyres a lot trying to get past. As I think Bibe has got past Wolby. Head over to P6 now as Jensen's closing in the back of Mark Whitford in the Corvette. Corvette was very strong due sector 1, so let's see if that strength comes useful against the Nissan. It's a side-by-side going to the first chicane. But it doesn't look like Jensen had any room to make a move there. He gets shunted out a bit wide. Naff is making... Oh, there's a big pack over here. I just realised that between this Naff, Wolby and Bibe in a little pack together. Naff looking to try and make a move, but couldn't find the space and now drops behind both of them now.
Häkkinen also getting close to the back of Berlin again.
What we're getting so far in this race is a bit of performance. And I think Charlie Darling lost a bunch of time onto Hyman, as he's now back 1.8 seconds. So that's not the best for them right now. I think Bibe's got... Oh yeah, Bibe did have a bit of damage. He went off earlier. And Bibe didn't actually lose so many places though. Like now he was P7 I think when he had his incident going off at Ascari. He's now on P8. So lost one position, lost a bunch of time, but he's still there. Probably helped by the fact that Berlin and Häkkinen did have a little tangle up later.
Yeah, Neff just overtook Wolby.
Wolby. Neff's going to look in the back of Bibe now.
So Häkkinen three tenths behind Berlin.
Yep. As you hop over to them now. Back of the McLaren. The McLaren's... Oh! Richard Berlin goes very wide. And looks like Häkkinen has the run on it.
Yeah, he'll have to defend up into turn 1.
Got the inside line. Bit of body roll. Naff looks like he's making a move as well in front. And he makes the move. Häkkinen doesn't make it stick. I believe he does. He gets a good exit out of here. I believe Häkkinen made a... Oh, but loses a bit on the exit. And now, Berlin comes back again. So, let's see how this goes as Naff gets past Bibe. So Naff does make the move work in the turn 1. Dentis is once on the back. Darling seems to be losing a lot of time though. Because just looking as
Berlin is trying to get the position back from Häkkinen.
He's a bit faster, goes for the inside line. Häkkinen gets a bit loose then.
Has some,
he gets very loose.
There.
And Victor Berlin makes the move work, but now they're back at each other again. Going down straight.
Tom Dent is getting close to Darling again into the Parabolica, but yeah, he just seems to be struggling on the straight.
I just don't think that car has enough power to get round. That car's power is just gonna make it struggle, I think, as and is now behind Victor Berlin. But it's the same place he overtook him the first time, so let's see if Berlin makes the same mistake. It doesn't look like he does though. He manages to stay in front this time around. As I think Naf lost position to Bibe again, so the two Nissans having a good old scrap. Just in front. Wolby gets very close as well.
Tom Ventus, his last lap was a second faster than Charlie, but still he couldn't get by.
As Naf tries to look at the back, it's a bit loose then, but doesn't lose too much time. As Hakkinen gets past Victor Perlin again, these two of us won't stop, will they? Hakkinen and Berlin, and oh, Berlin gets a big spin, loses position to Haynes, and does he lose to Toka as well? Yes, he does. So Berlin drops all the way back to P14. So apparently it will stop that fight, as Wolby's having a go at Naf now as well. Get through a Scary now. There's a bit of time though. Naf is also gaining the back of Bibe now. They weave across the track. There's a lot of weaving going on there. Trying to break the slipstream, but doesn't seem to work. They all enter onto the 12th lap of this race. Naf goes very wide. It looks like they've got a better exit coming out as well. Not quite close enough, I don't think, to make a move. As Berlin's making a move onto Toka Spliff now.
Meanwhile, it looks like Jensen is pulling away from Hauerman. He's about a tenth a lap faster.
Yep. And Victor makes a move on to Toka Spliff. Wolby's having another go at the back of Naf's car, but just decides to sit behind for now. No point making a risky move, as we now got under 40 minutes. As Bibe goes very wide there, and then hits the wall later. Oh, not. And he goes, woo! Reverses into the track. That's a bit dangerous there, Bibe. I wouldn't do that if I was you. Of course, a bunch of cars had to take avoiding action. That's very unfortunate. He was doing really well until he spun again out the exit chicane. He's now all the way back in P14. Let's see if he can bring his position back up again where he was. As Dentus looks at the back of Charlie Darling's car again, as the Alpina is losing a lot of time now to the leaders, so I don't know if that's fuel or Darling. Dentus is right at the back of Darling, I mean. As all the leaders seem to have...
Just 2 tenths faster than Darling on that last lap.
He's definitely quicker. I don't think that's the issue. I think it's actually the Alpine is just too hard of a car to overtake. Make up all the time in the world, but he can't get past. It's the same issue that Zandvoort. This time, the track is not the issue; it's the cars are the issue, and where the cars are balanced. As did Victor enter the pits? Victor's in the pits.
Yeah, he is.
He's taking a pit stop. Victor's taking his pit stop. He's the first pits right now in this race.
I'll keep an eye on him.
We just look at our leader.
Thomas Jansen has had the fastest lap with 1:47.7, while Harriman behind has had a 48.7, so a second slower on that last lap.
Jensen's getting very low fuel now, and I think this is where he's going to have his car is going to get a bit more comfortable for him to drive. As we look at him now, he's heading down towards Parabolica. It looks like
Berlin is back onto the track right now. I don't think he didn't change tires, as was to be expected in this race. I'm not expecting anyone to change tires at the moment.
As Jensen makes the move and Whitford goes around the outside of the Parabolica. Bit of contact there. Can he make it stick though? Just gets in front of Mark Whitford. Moves up into P5. Whitford does seem to be losing a bit. Oh no, man, he's now gaining it back in the slipstream again. First chicane, can he make anything work here? Get a better exit out the first chicane. He's looking to make a move up now into the second chicane. One behind in this end. And this is a very big car, similar to the Bentley. They're both very large cars. As Jensen gets a bit loose then.
Oh, it looks like Dentist might be able to make a move now. Darling went slightly wide onto the grass, but
Yep, we are now.
still, Darling seems to pull away.
It looks like he's going out, but pulled up the slipstream. Does he? Can he get round the outside of the Scari? Doesn't look like he can. But he's still going around it. Oh, and he's in the gravel.
He's off into the gravel.
Oh, and he loses it. That's a big impact there. That's,
Yeah, Jensen and Whitford coming up behind. Let's see if he can stay in front of them.
doesn't look like
He
it.
doesn't.
That's a lot of damage to the
Back
front of the
into
McLaren.
P6.
We're back in P6 now as Whitford and Jensen having a scrap at each other. That's really unfortunate for Dentist. And that's what happens when you're stuck behind the car for that long. It's his frustration starts to sit in. And it won't. Yeah, I believe that Jensen's heading to the pits now. So he decided to call his pit stop now. That's probably the best time to pull it when in a situation like that. You need to have a reset. Now the question is, will he take tyres or not?
Yeah, I will say making a move around the outside into Scari is not a very it's very risky. So yeah, I'm not surprised that it didn't pull off for him there.
As other cars, I believe, are now in the pits as well.
Dentist did also miss his pit box, so he had to reverse a bit,
Yep.
which is not good.
Oh, Danny Hyman's lost position as well. He's now facing the wrong way. He loses.
Dentist is back out onto the track, did not change tires.
That's both mid-engine cars having issues on going wide or hitting curbs. As Hyman's now all the way back in P6. Not being a good race for those mid-engines. He was doing so well this race up until that point. See if he can make his
Yeah,
way
well,
back.
the mid-engine cars are sort of known for that. Not being very easy on the curbs, and of course, taking the curbs right is very important at Monza.
Whitford's looking to get back into the back past Jensen though again. But one of these is going to pit racing, I believe. The people that pitted right now are Victor Berlin, Timothy Haynes and Tom Dentis. They've all pitted. I don't know why the lifetime he's showing 2 on Victor Berlin, but...
Yeah.
I pitted twice.
Seems to be quite far behind as well, so I think he may have gotten a penalty again.
Maybe, that's the only reason I can explain it as... We're now going to hit the 30-minute mark very soon as Whitford's going to make some move onto the back of Jensen. As he looks like...
Berlin looks very jerky in the pit lane, so yeah, could be the pit limit playing up again. So yeah, that was most likely a penalty, I think.
And maybe it's into the pit lane a bit quickly, because again, that, as we mentioned in the briefing, it's a very harsh pit entry. It was very quick onto it. There's Robert Nygaard is all the way now.
Yeah, getting close to Dando.
Looks like he's on the comeback drivers. Dentis, you can see in the background right now. I think Rapid, I guess, has struggled with the same situation that Dentis was having. Out of the slipstream, does not have the pace. So, slots in behind. back to Whitford again, as they two having a keep on their scrap. As they enter Ascari now. Whitford's definitely a bit quicker through there, but has to back off to just let. And there we go, he lost a bunch of time there. Right, we're under 30 minutes now, so a bunch of people should start pitting very soon. Quick reminder, your current leader is Thomas Jensen after a mistake. Not a mistake, he overtook Daniel Homan, and Homan can get past, then Homan made a mistake, and then so now he's got a fairly clean lead now. He keeps setting fastest laps, it seems. Be reduced. It'll be interesting to see what he does, as I believe Whitford just made the pass, or is it just having a good old scrap between these two still? I believe one of them's probably going to start pitting soon because they don't want to use all their fuel up now.
Docker Spliff is into the pit lane.
Yep, he's in the pit lane now.
As is Thijs Dendo.
Actually, really allow Robert Nygaard to get some space, free air now to gain some positions, I guess. Try and gain out, make it work. Robert hasn't pitted yet, has he? No, he hasn't. Once again, Mark Whitford's right on the back of Jensen's Nissan. Goes round the inside of the Ascari. Does he make it work? He does a bit of contact. Oh! That's a huge crash at the end of the Ascari. Big impact. And I think Whitford got away with it, less so than Jensen. But Daniel Heilman down overtakes Whitford as well. He's now back into P4. P3, I mean. So that's a bit of contact there. I mean, I can watch it back when my stream catches up. But that was
interesting development regarding strategy, because Dendo has changed tires.
That's why he explains to him why he's dropped all the way back. So maybe he's just not comfortable with the car on the lower tyre sets.
Whitford is into the pits.
Whitford's in the pits after his collision. That makes sense. He drops down the order now. Really a case of just waiting for people to pit now. The pit stops generally have a tendency to split up the fights, and it was interesting to see if the fights regain themselves again after the pit stops. As someone else, I believe.
Okay, so it doesn't look like Whitford changed tires. Looks like he
I think Robert
is
Nygaard
keeping
the
these
pits
shoes
as well.
on.
Yep, Robert Nygaard's in the pits as well.
Yeah.
Wolby is in the back of Nat again. Have these two pitted yet? I don't believe they have. So this is actually a fight of position. He's on the back of that Nissan, and as Naf closes up on the back of Sebastian Bunia.
Nygaard is back onto the track and did not change tires. Very jerky, so hopefully his pit limiter went alright and he didn't get a penalty.
Yeah.
Very annoying thing about this game. Meanwhile, P1 is into the pits, I think.
If you're
It
correct
is
there.
Tom Jansen.
So Tom is in the pit lane now. Let's see what he does. He might just say, you know what, I have the time, I might just take some tyres on. But let's watch him now. He's on this jack.
I don't think so. He said on the Discord earlier that there's no way getting changing tires will be the superior strategy. So I was not expecting to change tires, and he didn't.
Stops again.
Back on the track.
So your current. He's still probably your race leader because Charlie Doing has not stopped yet.
Meanwhile, Sven Jansen is also in the pit lane.
Yep, and so is Hyman. And
Front is already looking very bent.
Hyman managed to regain his position on Sven.
Oh, Sven is changing tires. Interesting.
Yeah, he's on his jacks. Well, he is on his jacks right now. Get dropped. Can't tell some. Good update. Because I'm losing it. So our supposed leader right now should be Thomas Jensen once the pit stops end. Guess it's a matter of see. So Mark Whitford's pitted, right?
Yeah, Sven rejoins the track himself.
Mark Whitford's pitted and he's exited in front of Dandy, so managed to get that undercut working now. Those two. So let's see if Dandy can keep his pace up and get back onto the back of Mark Whitford. This is actually a fight for position.
Kevin Neff getting very close to Brunier now.
Yep, and I think it's also a fight for
to
position.
go side by side into Parabolica.
And Naff does need to make the move stick. This is a fight for position, may I add, because these two have not pitted yet. And have not decided to pit this lap either.
Seems like about half the field have pitted now. So yet to pit are Darling, Neff, Brunier, Walby, Häkkinen, and Bike.
Vibe's in the pits now, I believe, so...
Yeah, he is.
Brunier's looking to make another move on the inside of the second chicane. But Naff very nicely just slits it back up, and now Walby's coming in the back of them. Oh. Walby, remember, who started all the way at the back, is now fighting for people who are fighting a lot higher positions than he was, so he's having a great drive right now.
Bike is back onto the track in P10. He does not change tires.
I mean, the top 5 who are running right now will change tires, I believe, very soon. But interesting fact,
not change tires per se, but take a pit stop because they'll be running out of fuel.
But let's realize something. Tom Dentist pitted very early, right? As Sebastian and a good fight. He's jumped Mark Whitford, so if he has enough fuel in that tank, he may have managed to just jump everyone and gain back up into a very high spot again. He's the second highest position of all the pitters right now.
Oh, Darling is into the pits.
The Darling's in the pit, so is Naff, and so is Sebastian Brunier. Which leaves, right now, Walby in the lead, but only because he's not pitted, so... And he is the only non-person to pit stop now. Now he's going to feel very lonely for a bit, and he's going to wonder if he made the right call or not, so... We'll wait for him to pit, and then we'll call our order out as we enter the 20th, with 20 minutes remaining of the race. The order gets all jumbled up now as people make their way out of the pits.
Yeah, none of them changed tires.
Darren Jensen jumped all the way back because he changed his tyres, so I think that was a mistake on his part. I don't think he changed his settings at all or something. But
Walby is the only one yet to pit.
So it means that Thomas Jensen is technically your race leader right now, for he's pit stopped and
Tom Dentist in second.
yeah, as I'm about to say, I think his early pit stop worked. Like after his impact, he's straight away pitted. So if he has enough fuel to last the rest of the race, he's just done a massive, like, undercut. He's managed to make...
very well done.
So I don't know if that's deliberate or just that chance, because... But he's made a massive spin. He's not actually lost that much time. I think he gained time overall for that pit stop. And So I'm gonna be interesting. I believe Wolby will be pitting now. Yes, yep. As he comes into the pits now, which now leaves Thomas Jensen as your race leader. Crossing the line now for his to start his 22nd lap of the round 4. I said the wrong round there. So let's go quickly over the order then. So leader right now is Thomas. Actually, let's not go over the order because Wolby hasn't finished his pit stop. So let's actually go on to track and have a fight. Look at this fight between Dentist and Whitford. Whitford jumped.
No, Wolby is changing tires.
How many tires?
Yeah, he is.
That has to be a mistake because there's no reason to change tires. So, the way he puts himself up. Whitford jumped home in the pit stops, and he's now moving. And so he exits the pits. Wolby drops all the way back to P11.
P12 even.
Even 12, yeah. He lost a lot of positions then, unfortunately. So, Whitford managed to jump Dante. Charlie is now in P3. Tom Dentist in P2. So technically, that's pretty incredible when you think about what Tom Dentist just did then. He was P4, struggling to overtake, and now he's in P2 because of a mistake. An early pit stop. So Danny Hyman on the right at the back of Mark Whitford's Corvette. He's looking to try and make a move now. Out of the slipstream though, but he's gaining time, but not close enough to make anything happen. Back into the first chicane again. The action somewhat sort of died down now. People's pace has set in, everyone's on the pit stops. Everyone's sort of a bit calmed down a bit. But saying that, Naff is trying to have another go at Hakkinen. Hakkinen must have jumped a lot of places with his pit stop then. He's on P6
Yeah.
now. He's another one which managed to get a very good stop. I'm questioning now, have some people taken less fuel than others? And risk it for the sake of trying to take a bit less fuel and see if they can last longer. Or
That's a very
longer.
good question, because I don't know how else you would gain that many positions.
The question is, will he have to start fuel saving at some point, which may result in him having to fall back a bit a couple of places. But Naff is looking very strong though today. Like in this race, he's doing very well. Wait, P7. Hyman closes on the back of Whitford again down the straight. A bit closer this time around, so he's got to have all the slipstream you want in the world. Whitford's diffuser got a bit of damage on it. Got the inside line, he brakes, does he make the move? No, just get too deep, but he actually... Nope, he loses the back end a bit. It looks like he slots back in behind again. So, with a quarter of the race cut left to go, it's looking like very much Thomas Jensen's race, doesn't it?
Yeah, for sure. He's 20 seconds ahead of Dentist. So unless he bins it, and don't see anyone taking that first place away from him.
Hyman gets a bit loose on the exit of the first chicane, but actually did a better run at it than Whitford, it seems. He's right back on the back of him now. As Naff loses a bunch of time to Hakkinen there, so he must have happened there.
Yeah, they just gone side by side into turn 1. But he did not manage to make a move and lost lost time there.
That's always the risk of trying to make a move. You actually lose time. So there's a fight for 4th position right now. Charlie in P5, P3. He's gaining onto Tom Dentist. Tom Dentist is losing time, and they both go wide. Then decided to bring up all the gravel onto the track.
Oh, Neff making a move on Hakkinen. Up the inside.
He makes
Takes
it
the
happen,
position,
but
but does he
Hakkinen
manage
looks like
to
he's
keep
coming
it?
back for it. Now see if the Nissan can pull away now. And looks like he just about does, as Dentist, I believe, not Dentist, I mean Andy Hireman just made the move on Mark Whitford. He's made the move as well now. That's 2 moves in like the same in less than 10 seconds. So as Jensen's looking on the back, he's making a move onto Haynes now. He's got the outside line now. Can he make it stick? Looks like he does. So Jensen moves up into P10. Like Hakkinen having another go at Naff, it seems. But I think the Nissan's just slowly pulling away now. Or is it? No, no, looks like the Citroen's coming back now. Getting very close. Naff has the inside line. Very late brakes. Decides to. Hakkinen decides to just go straight on then. Gonna keep it front. He's gonna have to get the position back, and he does. So. Outbrakes himself and has to go straight on, but does not keep the position luckily, so good on him. And now focus back to Dandy Hireman and Mark Whitford. I'm gonna get a bit of gravel. Hakkinen lost a bunch of time there, he went off in the gravel because Sebastian made a position up as well. So I think it's about time that it's something a bit more calmed down. We get to go for the positions now. So, Thomas Jensen's your current leader, followed by Tom Dentist, Charlie Darling, Dendy Hireman, Mark Whitford, Kevin Naff, Sebastian Brunier, Sturkinen Hakkinen, Dragon Spy, Sun Jensen, Timothy Hain, Jorgen Wolby, Robert Nygaard, Toku Spliff, Richter Berlin, Vistenjo, and unfortunately Steve Higgins had to retire due to technical issues. As Steve Whitford's got the run again onto the back of Hireman. Gap slots.
Jansen definitely getting a run on Bipe.
Yep. Yeah, he definitely has. He's going
Parabolica
side
now.
by side now towards the Parabolica.
Bipe on the inside.
Make it work. No, he doesn't. He slots in behind again. Oh! Carlos disappeared. Evan Jensen just disappeared.
He did.
From existence. What happened there? I believe there must be a disconnect.
Keep an eye on the Discord chat.
Yeah, that must have been.
So hopefully we can get some more information. This disappears from the live timing as well, so yeah, probably a disconnect.
Still in the Discord, so I'm gonna wait and see if he drops off that. If he drops off there, it means. Close battle now between Mark Whitford and Dyer Heyman. No retirement, because the retirement will put you back in the pits, but if it's a disconnect, it goes as these two are in a very close fight now with 10 minutes left to go in the race. Whitford's got the run onto the back of Hyman now. both closing on the back of Charlie Darling, but I don't think he's going to be under pressure anytime soon.
Yeah, they both seem to be going about half a second a lap faster than Darling at the moment. Huawei seems to be closing up on Tim Haynes.
Yep. Will be unfortunately a pit stop error putting tyres on, so he's lost a bunch of positions. I think Hyman's slowly getting away. I think both of them go very wide there between Mark Whitford and Danny Hyman. Both of them go very wide.
Haynes just lost it.
Haynes?
Yeah.
Okay, his
Into
front of gravel
the
kicked
second
up.
chicane.
Front of gravel kicked up.
He's lost the position to Huawei.
So Hyman's got a bit of task to make up again. He's just lost P4 to Mark Whitford, so he's going to look. As Hyman gets very close back of Whitford's car, he looks like he's making a move in the second chicane. Looks like he's just got the better brakes and oh, he spins! Oh, huge little punt there. I believe that's the curb curse striking again.
Yeah. Hyman has had a bit of an issue with curbs over multiple seasons we've had.
So, but he makes me the time back again. So, I don't know if that was a slight lift off from Mark Whitford or. So he makes the move again. Can he make it stick? He's going around the outside, and I believe he does make it stick, as Whitford's now slotted in behind. We've got an issue? That seemed very easy. Whitford's back on the back of him though, so looks like this race is going to keep going for these two as we enter the 5-minute mark. 5 minutes left to go, so also
In that collision, they also lost a lot of time to Darling, so
yeah,
any chance of catching up to him is gone now. Oh, Whitford
it was a bit
some
wide.
big oversteer through there.
Yeah, and looks like he lost a bunch of time there. So this is for current leader as he hits the first back marker. So Jensen is currently leading the race. He has led the race for quite a while now. Since, basically since Daniel Highway went wide, he's been leading this race and he's had no issues since, really. He approaches in the back of the other Bentley this race. Should have blue flags now, so it should be a fairly easy pass. No issues. Speaking of getting closing though, Woolby is in the close of Bibe again. Jensen gets cleanly past. Then Drew in the Bentley. Woolby now, who is so Woolby is now on the back of Bibe. Bibe is all the way back into P9 again after his I can't remember, did Bibe had a crash again, or did he have a screw up his pit stop? One of the two. I can't remember. At this point, because this race feels like it's been going on forever, but because there's been so much stuff going on, it's been hard to track all of it. But
Yeah.
Woolby's trying to make a move now, down the inside. Make it stick. I doesn't give him much room, but just enough, no contact made. And now he's in the back of the run again, as Pi went very slow for the chicane. Round the inside. Now making back again, as these two. Only a little scrap right at the end of the race.
Whitford is closing in on Highwayman again into the Parabolica.
Woolby makes
Let's see
the
if
move
we
now.
can still get some action between them with just 2 minutes left in the race.
Yep. As Whitford, yep, as you're correct, is on the back of Harriman now. Minutes left to go. He looks like he's making the move around the outside of the first chicane. I'm got the inside line, just cuts in front, but now Whitford's got the inside line now. He's got the drag. It's now a drag race to get out the corner. Don't really know who's in front. No, it looks like Whitford's just fallen behind Dandy. Oh. Whitford wiggles about behind Dandy. I believe this will be one more lap after this. By the current position of Thomas Jensen. Whitford loses a bit of time. He's going. Oh, he loses in this. He's lost in the same spot he lost in practice. That curb seemed to catch him out, unfortunately. So, very unfortunate for him. He's lost a bunch of time now on the back of Dandy. As Bibe has also lost time on the back of Woolby. So Woolby looks like he's managed to make that move stick. Well, no. This is your current race leader again. He's had 0 issues this race. Didn't get the best of starts, but managed to get around Highwayman after making a mistake and just kept the lead, really.
Yeah, just a very uneventful race for him.
Yeah, I mean, at the start it was quite close, but I think since Highwayman's been on the picture, he's had a very clean race. And I think he was always faster than Highwayman. He's behind him, because when he did get past, Highwayman just couldn't close the gap at all. But
Yeah, and the checkered flag is out. So we'll be waiting until Thomas Jensen crosses the line.
Yep, and the next person behind him is 25 seconds behind him is Thomas Denter. So you can see how much a dominant performance he's had. don't think.
Yeah, he's been very dominant this race.
So as he enters the Parabolica, flashing his lights. He must be. He must be. He was always coming into the race being one of the strong contenders. But what he's done is he made his lead a bit further. Now he weaves across the start finish straight. Thomas Jensen wins the round 4 at Monza of the OVRC GT3 series. And what a dominant win from him. As Tom Dentis now comes across the line and has battered up McLaren after he had a big issue onto the back end of Ascari. He now crosses the line in P2 after what was an amazing combat drive. Just slam the handbrake on, why don't you? Charlie Darling comes home in 3rd.
In his first race this season.
First race in the Alpina of this season, of this series, and he what a great drive from him personally. Homan comes home in 4th, his first race back since the start of the season, first race in the Audi. Whitford in 5th. Naff, what a great drive for him, he ends up in P6.
Yeah, very well done.
Bastian Brunier in P7, across the line. Akinen, what a great drive from him as well. He has struggled in practice. He's ended up in P8. Wolby, who started from the back, did not even qualify, finished in the P9. Vibe just behind him in P10.
Haynes just coming out of the last corner onto the finish line in P11.
Robert Nygaard. Yeah, unfortunately not the best race he had, but bad.
Victor Berlin, yeah, pretty bad race for him.
Yep, he was doing well at the start. Took a spliff. First race back, a bit disappointing, but you can get better from it, and there you go. There's your race results with 2 DNFs, one due to a technical issue, one due to a disconnect, and Jensen once again walks away with it. What a fantastic win from him. Just great drive all around for him. It was an interesting race. Like the strategy, like the Tom Dentis's comeback was pretty impressive. The fact he managed to pit early and just managed to make it work into P2.
Yeah, that was very interesting how he ended up there.
They were great, and what a great way to finish that race. So as we will get the results very shortly.
Apparently, Kevin Neff used the wrong gear at the start of the race and missed the split box, but he still ended up in P6, so not bad at all.
Not bad at all, as we will quickly get the results sorted out for you all. And at the start it was chaotic. It was a chaotic first race, but towards the end got very sensible, kind of, well, not sensible is not the right word, but got a bit tame, a couple of battles here and there. Overall, I think Tom definitely did deserve the race. He was just the quickest all through until qualifying, then he had somewhat of a challenge.
Yeah, really no doubt about that.
So as we get nearly there with results, it's going to take a bit of time because might be able to get some people for an interview if you are willing for it. Of course, it's going to be Tom again. We had an interview with him, but what happens when you win a lot of races, I guess. results get submitted right now. I mean, how do you think it's going to shape up the championship now? Do you think it's going to have much of an effect, or do you think it's going to be a bit of a just continuation of how things were before?
Well, Jensen is obviously extending his lead. Dentist will be up into P2. Takes that from Mark Whitford.
Yep. Oh, we're nearly there. Don't worry.
I think Sven Jansen will be badly affected by this since he disconnected. And he's not that many points off Kuvalainen and Brunier behind him.
Best time now from the rest of the season, it seems. He have to maybe struggle a bit for the rest of it. So, there we go. There's your top 20 results now. As Thomas Jensen moves himself up even further now, a gap of 10 points now between him and Tom Dentist. 75 points. Tom Dentist in second with 65. Mark Whitford moves up into a secure P3, well, usually P3, but he's now at 36. Dario Heinemann keeps his P4, 35. Sebastian Brunier, P5. Jensen moves down to P6. Nath moves up to P7. Victor Berlin to P8. Woolby to P9. Asikov Island P10. He moved down a couple of spots, I believe, because he didn't race, unfortunately. Vibe in P11. John Dalton to P12. Robert Nygaard P13. Charlie Darling to P14. Robert Sunderland to P15. Christopher to P16. Tim Haynes to P17. Stephen Higgins to P18. Marcus Lawrence to P19. And Aikinen to P20. So, I quickly will try and get an interview with Tom. And might get some interviews with other people as well if they're willing to do it. So, here we go. We're going to have an interview with Thomas Jensen. Welcome back. It's not the first time you've been here. What a great race from you personally. It was clean. How did it feel for you winning that from what was not the best start?
Yeah, well, what was it? The best start I could do. Yeah, then they just got an insane start, and like the brakes on that Audi are just. His car actually stops compared to the Bentley. I'm sure you've seen the moves in turn 1.
Yeah.
I was even ahead of him, and he just came flying by in the braking zone every time. It was a really fun battle. I'm really glad he switched from the Porsche, because in the Porsche it wouldn't have been fun to drive against.
So, unfortunately, he made a mistake, and then he unfortunately had a crash later. And for the rest of the race, it was fairly clean for you. Like, did you feel like the pressure was still on you leading at the front, or you felt like you could have sort of relaxed a bit and just drive it as you wanted?
Well, I was actually a bit worried because I didn't know he crashed, so I thought he already did a pit stop, and then he passed me when I did my pit stop, so I thought he somehow overtook me.
So
then he came into the pits right behind me, so it didn't last too long yet, luckily.
So, you sort of that you always had in the back of the mind that he did an undercut or something, and you got completely outsmarted.
Yeah, although should have been impossible. So somewhere I knew it couldn't be.
I mean, you probably didn't see much of it, but behind you was a lot going on. Between a fight between and. Do you sort of worry about what's going on behind you while you're at the front, or do you mostly just focus on what your closest rival or such, or do you worry about like if something happens really far behind?
No, I mainly focus on the gap to the car behind me and focus on my lap times to keep those stable. Because it was fairly difficult. My car was definitely the fastest on track today, so I did not have to push all the way, but the cold tires were quite a big problem, especially when I was behind Andy. He was going 1 or 2 seconds slower per lap, so my tires were going very cold. So every time I got an opportunity, I couldn't really capitalize. And then after the pits, like in the pits, the tires go very cold because you don't switch them. And then trying to heat them up took quite a few laps. You had to keep pushing to keep the temperature in them.
Yeah, we saw that during qualifying. Everyone's wiggling all over the place, trying to get tire temps in. Is there anything you like?
Qualifying was very close. Could have easily went to Tom there.
Anything you would like?
Not get the tires working.
Anything else to add, Erwin?
No, not really.
Alright, thank you for coming on. I will maybe. It was a great race from you, and congratulations on the win. You've now extended your championship lead by 10 points. You're 10-point buffer now. So now relax, maybe. Or don't.
Well, that's a big word. But we're ahead.
Right, that was very nice of him to say. I mean, I find it quite interesting the fact that he did think about the possibility of a undercut. I mean, obviously it's quite different from us because we're sort of seeing it like post-race, but so I'm going to try and get the possibility of maybe getting Tom Dentis in here. If he doesn't, and after that we'll call it a day. It's been a very interesting race, I'd say. It was not as tense as Zandvoort because it didn't have that climax that Zandvoort did, like where it was the chase as such. I think Owen's dead.
Sorry, I wasn't. I was reading the chat, but yeah, there was definitely a lot happening, but not. Yeah, towards the end, it sort of started to die down a bit.
I think what didn't help is because this is the first race where tyres are not being the optimum strategy. I think that caught some people out and had their presets or something wrong.
Yeah, looks like it.
So some people did get caught out by that, and I think that broke up a lot of battles. It was a good race for the start, and it's surprising how clean the first lap was. Well, that first chicane, notoriously first bad chicane, and there was no major issues.
Yeah, I think everyone just knows how bad that chicane can be, and they all were extra careful.
Yeah. So I don't think we are going to get an interview with Tom, unfortunately. Not responding to any PM, so I think we're going to call it a night here. I hope everyone did enjoy the broadcast. If you are interested in joining this league, there's a description in the description below. There are links to the league website as well as the Discord where you can join and just have a good old chat with some of the drivers and ask for tips and tricks. So that's what I was saying. If you want to add, Erwin, before we call it off.
Yeah, thank you all for watching. Hopefully, see you next time.